The thoughts, views, and opinions of SLYTalk are strictly those of the host and guest, and not necessarily those of the management and owners of More 94 FM. This is SLYTalk.
Relationship blues? Perplexed? Confused? Bothered? Hurt? Yeah. Sounds like you could use some SLYTalk. Here we go. More entertainment is definitely here on 194.9. It's your girl Sly. Duh. You are tuned into SLYTalk, the rawest, unedited relationship talk show on the airwaves right now, bringing you all the issues of your regular relationship and matters of the heart in perspective. Thanks for dropping in. If you didn't catch last week's show, get on over to our YouTube page. You can go from episode 1 straight through to this one. You can find us by typing in SLYTalk, that's all one word, into your YouTube search bar. That's SLYTalk, all one word. Last week's topic, the modern day arrangement. Sexual friendships. That was a deep one. You know, it was pretty much about, you know, friends with benefits, basically. So if you missed it, get on over to our YouTube page and give it a listen. Today's show is sponsored by The Giggle House. They provide day and evening care for kids of all ages, for those moments when you just need to get out of the house and, you know, do your adult do with your boo. You know, give them a call today. The number is 816-8171. That's 816-8171. Or you can head over to their Facebook page to learn how to sign up for your romantic evening with your man or leading lady without the kiddies. SLYTalk encourages you to join as a couple. Sometimes listening together and identifying with other views is all that's really needed to curb a bad situation. If you have a scenario that you'd like to hear on SLYTalk, by all means, drop us a note on our Facebook page. That's SLYTalk at Facebook. Just listening to other views sometimes, you know, like your own, can help to draw the right perspective on your issue and solve it without the need for counseling or, you know, disclosing intimate details to friends. If your lady or man is not next to you right now or can't be with you during this episode of SLYTalk, you know what to do. Give them a ring or send them a text message and get them tuned in. For those of you chilling with the boo today, get cuddly and let's start the show. On panel today, we have the beautiful Jackie in house again today. What's up?
Hello.
Terry.
Why am I not beautiful or handsome?
You're handsome.
Thank you. Hey.
And of course, you have Paradise Abaco.
Yeah, we have a great topic for you guys tonight.
Today. I'm your girl Sly, as always. If you'd like to call in during the show, remember the numbers to dial are 341-6673. That's 341-6673. Or you can send us a WhatsApp message at 816-817-87 if you have, you know, a question or whatever you want to be read on air. As always, you can always hit us up on Facebook or our Instagram profiles as well. If you do not have WhatsApp, it's totally fine. Today's topic, what do you do when Mr. Right is not Mr. Right in bed? I mean, you have the perfect guy. Handsome, good with finances, well-dressed, well-spoken, a gentleman, nice job, his own place, treats you right. But you find that he just cannot get you excited in the sack. What would you do? What would you do? What would you do, Jackie? I don't know what to say about that one. That's a deep one.
I'm so afraid of this question.
It is a scary one.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Because you don't want to be mean.
But, okay, so what is not good, though?
Not good for you.
What is good for you? So obviously we would have to, you know, ask ourselves, what is the definition of Mr. Right first? So who's Mr. Right, basically? We're talking the 80% now, the 90%.
So basically someone all around that you really like and identify as someone who you would like to be in a relationship with, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so for me, Mr. Right is...
Okay. It's going to vary from woman to woman.
Well, for me, it would probably be, you know, somebody that's, you know, very sweet, someone that, has the old school type of charm and the romantic guy that, my name rolls off his tongue and that's stereo, by the way. So, just that ordinary, guy that you really, probably, find very rare nowadays.
So break it down, though. What does he do wrong in bed?
Dun, dun, dun.
Whatever you are used to.
Whatever
what makes you satisfied, he's not doing. How do you cope with that?
Who is your Miss Right? Who's your Miss Right?
My Miss Right is someone who's good with the kids, good with children, could cook, some good stew fish.
She gotta be able to cook too?
Yeah, you gotta cook.
Sounds like a mother.
you gotta be a cook, a good cook.
Very good cook.
Good with kids.
Right.
Obviously because you have a daughter.
When they go out, they could conduct a good conversation, but when they get home, they could be a freak.
No, but she's saying she's not going to be a freak.
Who?
No. We're saying that she's trying to, but she's just not good at it.
So what would you do?
Oh.
What would I do?
Yeah, if you met a girl that meets all of these...
I would get a sweetheart.
But I'm dead serious though. What, okay, so just cooking and being a good, I guess mother. What else? That sounds so shallow.
Well, of course, I mean, this goes without saying. Someone who is considerate, someone who I connect with, I guess with the basic needs that everybody's looking for.
Like what? Who's Mr. Right? Because obviously we're saying, okay, Mr. Right. We've found this ideal person.
But I don't think one size fits all. I think that differs to everybody.
So whoever that is, I just want to know, because it's hard for me to answer from a female standpoint. So I would like for him to tell me what happens when you meet Miss Right to you and she's not working out in bed.
Well, if she's not working out, Ian, if she
okay.
Okay, what that means is, to me, she's her performance is lackluster. Even if she gave it a good college try, and she still falls off.
The what college try?
College try.
But she tries, and it's no fault of hers. It's just that we don't have that sexual chemistry.
Just don't have it.
But everything else she fills out.
You know what I think?
What?
I don't think you know who's Miss Right.
Doesn't matter, but what would you do if she's not good?
It does matter.
It differs. It differs to everybody.
In what way?
No, what? Okay, so we want to get to the question of the day, which is, what would you do?
We're getting there.
Okay.
My thing is just, in order to be able to say that she's right here and not right over here, you would have to be able to identify how she's right.
Okay, let's.
You don't think so?
Let's say like this, right? Let's say she takes good care of you. Everything is good all around. She's a great human being.
Right.
I want to get to the nitty gritty. What do we do when they're not good in bed?
Get to that point where you get there and it's not all that.
Then what? Please.
Then what? Do you say, hey, let's start to read a book on how you could get this right? Do you even tell them that they ain't
what do you do?
Doing it?
Well, the first thing you have to establish is sex such an importance in your relationship? I mean, is sex really important in your particular relationship?
I think the Lord knows that at this point. I'm just saying, I think we all know it's very, very important. Because, of course...
How important? Could we put a number on it?
I think in a relationship... sex is your vent. That's your exhaust. That's the point. That's your connect. Like at the end of it all, because you could be cool. We could work together well financially. We could have a great spiritual relationship, but we're gonna have to have intimacy. That's what really.
So you're saying sex? You associate sex with connecting to that person.
It is connecting to that person. That's plug. Listen, I mean, you think about the connection, plug, socket. That's the connection. At the end of it.
So I think it will have to start with a conversation. It has to be something that's discussed. I know he said, well, what do you say? How do you say it? But I think you would have to address the fact that there is a lacking somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the question is, how? Not many people are going to say, you do everything well, except when we get in this bed, you suck.
So there's always the 80-20, obviously. There's always... The person that you're with is never going to be 100%. I've never heard anybody say, step to you,
I'm sorry.
That their lady or their guy is 100%. it's always something. There's always something that could be better.
I know it's right into the show, but I have a question from a Facebook listener, and this one she's asking. I've been seeing my boyfriend for almost 2 years now, and we have a very strong relationship. The only area that worries me is our sex life. The truth is that sex has never been mind-blowing, but I have overlooked it because sex isn't everything. Plus, he treats me so good. We're talking about getting married soon, but I'm wondering, can I live the rest of my life with a man I do not enjoy sex with?
Wow.
And is that not? And it's not like he hasn't tried to please me. So far, nothing's working. I'm seriously thinking about using my ex just for sex.
Wow.
Any suggestions?
No.
That is obviously the reason. That's obviously what she's saying.
No, but
essentially,
she's asking for suggestions. She said just for the physical aspect, she's thinking about using her ex.
No, that should not even be an option, number one. And I think she needs to sit down and have a conversation with her.
According to she has.
No, she said that they tried different things.
Right.
But I think they have to have an actual conversation to try to marry what she likes with what he does, so that maybe they could come to.
That's not an easy conversation.
It's not, but I mean, you have to have it.
Is there such a thing of not being sexually or being sexually incompatible?
Yes, I mean,
could that be?
Yeah, you could be sexually incompatible.
Of course, but you could also work on that. That's something that you can work on.
I agree.
Because if you're building a life with someone and you want to work at getting better, you can do that as a couple.
Yeah.
So two people can come together and try to identify what each likes and try to get there.
I agree. So
if it's that important.
So your suggestion is communicating with.
Yeah, you have to communicate.
Is there? Well, so that's obviously a stumbling block for a lot of people. You know, communicating with whomever it is that they're with. That's a big issue for a lot of persons. Communication in itself,
sure.
Outside of talking about touchy subjects like sex and how you make me feel is an issue. So imagine having to bring a topic on the table that deals with, pretty much emasculating, a female or a male.
But when it comes to men, that's an extremely touchy subject.
That is touchy. I would be afraid to talk to a guy about that. What would you do? What would be your suggestion, Terrio? I would be totally.
Suggestion from which perspective? Both?
No, in that, if we're dating and I'm afraid to come to you, how would I approach that?
What would
you suggest that approach be?
Yeah.
How would I suggest? You mean to suggest a woman approaching a man about not being?
Yes.
Right.
I don't. Okay, listen, I can't even think, but that's.
You can't relate.
I can tell you what I tell a woman.
Okay, let's hear it.
Now, if you ain't there, now I definitely listen. Hey, between you and I, right? And usually, you want to have the talk, and not to upsell yourself, but you want to talk. Some people don't like to do it, but you need to have talks about sex.
Yes.
Through the course of your relationship, because you need to understand what that person likes, what that person doesn't like, what they do, and what they need. You get all of that out of the way, so that when you get there, you can deliver. And you don't have to question whether it's delivery or DiGiorno. But my point is, once you get there, then now if you see something is off, then you can say, now, hey, okay, well, based on, what you're talking about, it wasn't, or it was. I mean, nobody wants to be, honestly, even me saying this, people wouldn't normally say, you suck at this, or you don't do this the way you said you do it. What happened there? Or question what happened that you said you was throwback, really super great, but you didn't do that there, You couldn't take this that way there. Oh, well, whatever the excuses or whatever the reason, you got to be honest with the person, because you got to repeat it again. I mean, it's the same cycle.
Yeah.
Ain't much new positions and stuff out there. I mean, just saying, you got to probably try it again. So but you got to be able to say it like, hey, listen, because it could be an issue. It could be just timing was bad or feeling wasn't there.
Yeah,
whatever
but I can't see myself having the conversation after one go. It has to be
that's what I'm saying. It has to be something a little more.
Consistent.
But that's why I said beforehand, you have your conversation. So when the act happens, you kind of have your little, you got your little list, and you can say, okay, well, this is time number 1, time number 2, time. Listen, this done make 3 times, and this thing ain't happening, right?
No,
you gotta be honest.
If it's a relationship that's real, it's okay if it's after several times, because this is someone you potentially want to be with for a long term. Mm-hmm. So that's okay.
You think so?
Yeah, after several times you have a conversation and you talk about sex.
Let's talk about.
I still think it's an uneasy topic.
Just a question.
Agreed. To have.
This is a question I have. What do you do when you've done everything? You had the conversation. See, people, there are listeners who are in the space that they've done the whole toys and and this person, and it's not that the person is a bad person,
they just couldn't get there.
They're not compatible sexually. What do you do then?
I think after trial and error, you have to come to a point where you say, I have to make a decision. I have to be honest with myself, and I have to decide, is this something that I can live the rest of my life without?
Right.
Or is this something that I can realistically, I'm talking about the sex that I in my head want, or is this something I can realistically give up and still have a wonderful quality of life?
That's a big one. That's a tough one.
But that's a decision that we would have to make as people.
You think you could like X out sex altogether?
No. What?
Oh, I didn't say to X it out.
Can you X it out? Can you, if you had to?
That's not an option. No, we didn't say to X it out.
I'm just asking.
We're not Xing it out.
We don't want anyone to X out sex.
You're just going to be putting up with bad sex.
Don't say bad sex. Not the ideal sex.
It's bad sex.
I think sometimes sometimes though, like when we get with people sometimes, when you meet people and you really get to understand that person. I mean, naturally people will upsell in most cases. Every woman, she says she's been with 2 multiplied by 3. You get the whole gist here. So, and most men ain't that honest about whatever they go through or how they feel and process. But when you get, sex is a unique adventure, I would say, because it isn't the same for everybody, because you could have sex with 3 different people and get 3 different experiences. It isn't the same across the board. Everybody could be the same size with whatever. It'll be different because it's based on your connection. So I think that
So is it safe to say that once you lose a connection,
then sex sucks. Or it could be great with a bad connection. Listen, just saying. I
had a listener, a person who I pitched this particular topic to, and they said she was in a relationship for some time with her boyfriend, and the first time they were intimate, it was not up to speed. But when he asked her, she didn't want to hurt his feelings, so she said, "Yeah, it was good" or whatever.
Is that a good idea?
No, it's not a good idea. But listen, what happened was about a year down the line in the relationship, she was once again thinking about having sex with her ex because it was so bad. But she's saying, how do she go about telling her boyfriend now after lying to him so long? It was good to tell him because it's going to crush him.
That's exactly my point. So the mere fact that she ventured to tell him that it was good initially, you can't lie after that.
Okay, but what do you tell a person who lied straight?
But she's not being true to herself, because to even have the consideration of the ex is really, really dysfunctional.
Well,
when you say, elaborate on that for me.
She mentioned the ex.
But I mean,
the girl mentioned that she would probably sleep with her ex.
So she's still sort of like a woman.
She's appeasing him.
It doesn't matter.
But why is she even mentioning the ex?
If she was appeasing him without the ex, then we would be having a different conversation.
Exactly.
But for her to have brought in the ex, that means there is an ulterior motive in my mind, and she's someone who I would categorize as sitting on the fence. So she's somewhere between.
Well, I see it a little
That's
differently.
my opinion.
Okay, that's fine.
How do you see it?
I see it as, and in all honesty, I know people that have been in the same situation, and I'm wondering if maybe she just didn't want to hurt his feelings. Some people
have to do with the ex.
She had needs. She had a need.
But why the ex?
Hold on. I'm telling you why.
On occasion, though. What I'm saying is, there are other alternatives. There could
she may have enjoyed sex with him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, why are you focused Yeah, but why are you focused on one person in a world of billions of people? When if you could say to yourself, you know what, my husband's not that great. Every time I travel, I may venture out to a stranger.
The ex was mentioned because the sex was good with the ex.
But not only that, she's saying why not, venture into a relationship with someone else versus dealing with this ex again. That's what she's trying to say.
Her ex is still in her relationship. She has her ex in her mind in the relationship because the ex should not be a part of a conversation about her and her boyfriend and the fact that they don't have good sex.
Okay, granted, right? Okay. Granted, I can totally appreciate that. However, what I'm gathering is that she's obviously, for one, she's running back to the ex because the ex is obviously, it's not new. It's something that she understands. It's something that she knows. It's something that she's familiar with. It's something that she enjoys, right? So that's part one. This is how I'm processing it in my head. You may say, okay, find someone else, but it's a new person. It's a brand new person. It's creating a new relationship in the relationship you're in.
Not if it's a stranger.
Bad.
Both are bad. Whenever you cheat, it's bad. But what I'm saying is, for her to mention the ex, that means she has not removed herself from her past.
Yeah, it's almost premeditated. It's just like, she got her back.
Is it possible that she hasn't moved herself because she's not found the type of sex that makes her happy in the relationship that she's in?
No, because her ex would have happened before she had the new guy, in my mind.
Exactly.
So no, she just has not moved away from her past.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, what would your suggestion be now to that person who is in this dilemma? Who lied straight through? I mean, when it comes to...
I don't know. When you start lying, see, that's the thing. I'm all for... I feel like as adults, I think we need to establish a place where we're able to really connect with how we feel. If you feel a certain way, say that's how you feel.
Be true.
It's your body. It's how you process things. It's what you want. Say what it is that you want. I think we try to lotion and appease people all the time, and really we put ourselves on the back burner. When you do that, when you lotion and you give persons, the upper hand on how it is that you feel, you put yourself on the back burner.
But that's also a very cowardly position to take.
In which way?
When you just appease people and you don't stand up for your own truth, or you don't even try to identify what it is and face it and deal with it, I think it's a little cowardly.
And I mean, even when you think about think of those old movies when when a breakup happens, and then you finally say, well, all that time it sucked. I was fake. Like, really? Like, you're really gonna wait till, we done 3 years and you've been faking the whole time? Like, listen.
Because now they're not interested. Like, they really don't care about your feelings now.
Yeah. But then it's like I said again. It's two parts to that, because sex is something that transcends just physical. If you just having physical sex, then your relationship you don't really have to factor in a relationship for just physical sex. It's just getting off, essentially.
I agree there.
But I think when you incorporate wanting to have a relationship with someone and build, and then that physical part is lackluster, it's only really two options people usually take, and we know that the option everybody usually takes, they stay and they just settle with it, they put up with it, and then when stuff hits the fan, that's when they just realize, okay, well, I ain't got to do this no more, let me let you know how I was feeling the whole time.
Cool. So is there more than one wrong way? Is there more than one way to be wrong in bed? Is there more than one?
There's tons.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of ways.
I think there's a whole.
Could we state like 3 of the PG ones, the PG-13 ones?
Some people stink.
What?
Oh my God.
Listen, okay.
Let me just.
Frowsy, you mean like sense?
No. So let Abigail elaborate then. Since
I think when it comes down to pleasuring your significant other orally, some men tend not to take in consideration what their partner like. They tend to just do enough just to engage in the main event, and that could be horrible for. That could be horrible for the female in that situation if you just do enough to.
So it's selfishly.
So Terrio said sense. So you prefer a lady that has, nice sense going.
Listen.
Is that absolutely 100%? She can't come from the gym with you.
Kids. No.
I guess not.
My point is, right? You should smell like flowers and taste like water.
So then you don't do impromptu. So then impromptu sex is out the window for you.
Of course, impromptu sex. No, impromptu sex is out the window. I'm just saying, no. But listen, I could be out today and I still smell nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to smell stink.
That's true.
You know, some people just don't take care of themselves. Is what I'm speaking of. And
this is the person you're in a relationship with. You should know that your particular significant other habits by now. So you should know. You should be adapted a little bit to her smells. If
Sorry,
he doesn't like the stink ones.
Listen,
you should. I don't think you should hit the ground running with someone who is a little bit
musty,
frowsy.
No, I'm saying though, like.
That is just one of the ways. He's just elaborating on one or two of the ways that you could be bad.
Yeah, you could just be bad because this could be something that.
What about breasts?
That's a no. You may have been trying to get in bed with that. That makes no sense.
The whole hygienic.
Yeah.
Hygiene is important. Yeah, you should take that care of that whole thing.
Yeah.
You get them a water bed. Just put Listerine in the bed instead of water. Tell them enjoy the ride.
Saying that you have people who are selfish.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Don't go anywhere, guys. When we come back, you'll hear more of the ways that you can be bad in bed, the deal breakers, and why men and women become so wrong when sex is involved. Be right back.
Real Talk Live has dominated the talk show scene for over 10 years. And the legacy continues. It's Real Talk Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Get your fill of not just any talk, but pure real talk. Right here on the only station giving you more entertainment. Call in with your opinion. Call in with what you want to say.
Just pick up the phone.
And dial 341-6673.
341-MORE.
And if you're an Ally customer, all you've got to do is hit 9494. And you've got real talk. Real talk. Giving you more entertainment right here on More 94.
The concert you've been waiting for is finally here. Diamond Productions presents the Afro Soca Concert Bahamas 2017. A first of its kind concert with headlining act from Nigeria, Team Maya. And from the Caribbean, Soca Delight Olatunji and the Rhythm Motion Band. On the wheels of steel, DJ Playhouse and DJ Big L. Tickets regular $35, VIP $75, and the All Access Premium $150. For Starbucks tickets and other inquiries in Bahamas, call +1 242 8040 6049. In the US, call +1 267 344 6776. And for Nigeria, call +234 806 139 7167. The Afro Soca Concert Bahamas 2017 is the concert of the year you do not want to miss. So tell your friends to come along. This event is proudly supported by Giggles Plus and Tempo Network.
Hey Bahamas, it's your boy Big L from Playhouse Entertainment, and I'm a member of the National Workers Credit Union, and I'm proud to be a part of a multi-million-dollar Bahamian success story. If you're not a member, you're missing out on the best savings rates in the country. Join National Workers today and make history with me as they celebrate 40 years of providing financial services to the Bahamian public. You can contact their branches at 397-5800 in New Providence or 352-9624 in Grand Bahama for more information. Join us at the National Workers Cooperative Credit Union.
Relationship blues? Perplexed? Confused? Bothered? Hurt? Yeah. Sounds like you could use some SLYTalk. Here we go. And we're back. Remember the number to dial if you want to call in is 341-6673. If you've gotten a live phone, of course, the number is 9494-CEND. Yes, it's just 9494-CEND. Or feel free to send us a WhatsApp message to 816-8187. Or you can hit us on our Facebook page at SLYTalk. That's all one word. Our topic today, when Mr. Right is all wrong in bed. That does include women, by the way. It's just a topic. We're, dissecting, why you could have yourself a really, really, really good person And the minute you guys hit the sack, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? You know? We were talking about, ways, I guess, that you can be all wrong in bed. So, Terry, I think you mentioned that sense is an issue for you.
No, not an issue for me. It just would be an
issue. Period.
No, yeah, that'll be an issue.
You can see how having, I guess, not fragrance, not even just being blah or plain or just having bathed, but having a nice scent to you should appeal to a male, I would think, right, Abigail?
Or female.
I totally agree.
I like nice gentleman scents as well.
Don't forget them pheromones. Don't forget,
stuff like that would definitely, improve the sexual experience. What else do you think would improve sex for someone that's struggling out there?
I think the best sex you could ever have is between two selfless people. Because I know that some sex is lackluster because one person has an agenda or a goal, and the other person is just existing. So it's like, we get in bed and you want the pleasure, but I got like a 3-minute marker and I trying to make this happen fast. I go in there, I drive home, or, on the opposite end, the female she just needs to get what she needs to get, and you have that, because that's most of the reasons, a lot of people don't explore
what makes the other person feel good.
They'll talk about it, but when they get in bed, it's another subject, because sometimes people just we like to say, all for me, baby.
But I guess people don't get wrapped up. I guess some people don't get wrapped up in the what you need, because identifying with what you need is sometimes not as obvious as it needs to be.
But that's exactly what we should be getting wrapped up in.
How do you get wrapped up in it? I mean, you're saying your suggestion was to have a conversation. I am saying that conversation is not the easiest conversation to have. So how else do you identify these things?
If you're actually having sexual relationships with this person, then you even experience what their needs are, because you see how they react to certain things
and stuff like that. So you think persons need to pay a little bit more attention to the faces and the ways how persons interact with you.
If communication by conversation is hard, then try to find those answers in bed.
I totally agree. So basically, we're saying that sex is a huge deal, but, we spoke about earlier, do we put a little bit too much emphasis on sex, do you think? Do you think it's possible that the things that we need to pay attention to, we don't, and we're too interested? Just look at the way the world works now.
I do think we don't put enough attention on other things.
But some people may think sex is overrated, but I think
it's not, though.
It's not overrated.
No, some people may.
Which island they live on?
No, I'm saying, some people may not put a lot of emphasis on sex because they may not be good at it. But I think you should pay attention to sex, just like you would pay attention to communicating in your relationship too. I don't think it should be any less than any of the other pillars that makes a relationship work. Finances, communication, and sex is right up there. So
yes,
I kind of disagree when people tend to say sex is overrated, or you be paying too much or put too much emphasis on sex. In my opinion.
I think my reason for, saying that was because, obviously we have indicated that sex is a really, really, really big part of the relationship. So if it's a huge part of the relationship, then, go ahead, Jackie.
I think it's overrated and underrated. But that's really complicated, so we don't have to go there today.
And it rhymed.
I just wonder if all the other parts were in place, if sex would just be so much easier. What do you think? If you have the right communication and you're laughing with your partner and you're giggling and you guys go out and you have really good chemistry, the sex should be just almost awesome, right?
I think, and that's what I really about to say the same thing.
Because it's about the vibe.
Yeah, it's. I think if you find a relationship where your needs outside of sex are met, sex becomes...
It flows.
Easy.
Because like I said, it's not... Sex isn't like... you could be big or small, wide or short. It doesn't really matter. It is...
That's the feeling.
No, I'm saying...
Let's hear yours,
really, it's the feeling. I mean, realistically. Because the reality is, it's the feeling. It's the feeling that you get when you... That chemistry plays a huge part.
Well,
let's be real.
I don't know.
Let's be real. It connects you too. It connects you to your partner as well. It shouldn't be only a physical act. It should also be emotional.
It's more mental.
It should be a mental and emotional act to bring you guys together.
Sly doesn't seem to agree. I'd love to hear her feedback.
Why
For you?
I just think...
There's raw passion and sex.
I think, sex doesn't just have to do with... I think it has a lot to do with...
Chemistry.
Chemistry. Right. But I do think that, sizes and actions and stuff like that, they all play a part. Let's not discount anything.
No, they hold on. Let me say this right. I'll say this right. You should. Let me tell you what's really good, right? About some relationships.
I think only in extremes.
You should be able to get someone. You should be able to get your significant to a certain height, to get their senses heightened without even starting. You should be able to look at them or give them a touch on the neck.
I agree. That is good chemistry.
That's good chemistry.
That is good chemistry. If you have that type of chemistry with somebody, that's a keeper.
Right, because
I don't care how they are in
because
bed.
No matter whatever they pull out or you pull out after that, it's only a bonus to what you've already started. That's what sex should be, because it's really connection. Remember that we ain't gonna get to the other part.
If you bring back to being compatible in the chemistry, you may overlook size and certain things, and you'll probably work with that person if you have a
Sly, really?
emotional connection.
Really. Sly, let's be fair, okay?
Listen, y'all ask me.
Yeah, so you saying if you in love with this person and this person is in love with you, you guys connect on emotional.
Yeah. I would totally a keeper. However,
and he comes.
Go ahead.
And you would go outside?
No.
And size is underwhelming. It's underwhelming. You're saying that you may not be able to work with that.
I'm saying that we would have to explore some ways to remedy the situation. I'm not saying that you would have to
equipment.
Do you know that? No. Let's be real, right? Hold on, because you're a woman, right? And I gotta speak for the man here, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all realize that y'all have something that is that has high levels of elasticity, correct?
Yeah, but not everyone has that elasticity.
We just talking about the way that, because when doors open, doors close.
It's the same
doors,
on both sides.
Doors close up the same way, right?
It's on the both. It's both sides.
What I'm saying is, though, right?
It's the same on both sides.
Exactly, but I'm saying
so we don't need to.
That it shouldn't, like, when you get. Anyways.
No, go.
No, I really would like to hear what it is.
I'm listening to
PG.
Because we have a Facebook listener, and they said, Ms. Smith saying, yes, I know, but you have to work with what you have.
Work with what you have?
To size or whatever. You work with what you have.
Is that settling, though?
I don't think so.
Can that be assumed as settling?
Well, not necessarily if you love the person.
I think it's having your priorities straight.
But we have already established that sex is a priority.
How much? I mean, let's ask. The real question is, how much does size matter on both ends?
No, we're not talking about size.
I'm saying, because we talk, not when we say that, I don't mean not to stray off, but
okay. So I can comment on size.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's just when you get to extremes that it becomes an issue. I don't think that
extreme lows,
averages. Oh my God! Wait, hold on, Sly. I'm going to say this to you. There could be really annoying extreme highs.
I agree.
So extremes on any end can be a problem.
Okay.
Can be a problem.
I mean, I maintain.
I'm trying to kill.
I maintain that the connection, though, the overall connection makes it great or better. That's what it is. The overall connection between two persons.
So then our suggestion then to the listening audience is try to create a really good relationship outside of bed before you jump
that
in
should happen automatically.
But we don't do that anymore. We don't try to create connections anymore.
That's where the issue lies then.
That is the issue, because I think when you find a really good connection and a really good person and you build a great relationship, that should be the foundation. I think one of the reasons I struggled to answer initially when you asked this question is, how can sex be bad if you're in a really great relationship?
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean,
it's really probably a very odd case if that happens. But I think, generally speaking, if you find a really great relationship, I think you can make sex great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Facebook, and the young lady says, "I am a Christian. I know it's a buzzkill in some cases, but I am.
It's not
if I am supposed, exactly, it's certainly not.
No.
If I am supposed to wait until after marriage to have sex, how am I then able to circumvent ending up with Mr. Wrong in bed?"
Exactly.
Great question.
And that's why I don't think that you can go that wrong in bed if you've identified someone that you really can build a strong relationship with.
Yeah, that's it. It boils back down to just being open with what your preference is, because and everybody's preferences change over the course of their existence. But when you get with someone, don't be afraid to say what it is
that you want. Yeah.
Yes.
Say what it is you want. Say how you like it. Yeah. And if that person is willing to, or if they say, and the other person has to be as honest in saying, listen, I can't, or I can, or I don't know how. Some things you got to learn. And most men, honestly, most guys ain't gonna want to be taught in some cases,
right?
Because we want to maintain a little macho thing.
And
most women too. I'm saying it goes in maturity too.
If I love you, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to please you.
I'm
not gonna be stubborn and say, hold on, I'm too old for this. You can't teach me nothing.
But do you know something? Do you know something? And I'll be honest. One thing that I struggled with in my own relationship is that
being present or past. Thank God.
Is that, being able to connect with wanting or having to tell somebody how to do something. I think it's almost, here's my take on it. Here's how I, thought about it initially. Is that if you've dated me and you know how to date me and, you're good at dating me, obviously, then why should I have to stare you?
But that may not translate into the bedroom, though.
No.
That may not necessarily.
Yeah, but this is how I felt. I felt like, okay, why should I have to tell you to do this, and this?
But that's also very selfish, though.
You think?
Yeah, because I think that, first of all, you have to be careful about what you say and how you say it. I wouldn't suggest that anyone tells their partner, I'm going to teach you.
No, of course not. Because it's a demeaning way of delivering a message.
But if you say something like, if you talk about them maybe customizing it to you,
right,
then that's a little different and easier to hear.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that in the moment. Sometimes nobody wants to be dictated to outside of it. Like if you're in the process of it, then you like that.
It's like, but like Jackie said, it's not what you say, is how you say it.
Agreed. In a soft, loving tone, I think.
Stop you in my head and say, buddy, stop. You doing silliness. That might hurt my feelings.
But you might have yourself a rough chick. Some guys like it rough.
No. You telling me roughness like that.
No, man.
I need a hug after that.
So obviously,
she's hugging you all right.
The standard is obviously set. It's set by social media, it's set by television, and the like section. Apparently, be toe curling and lip biting and scream to the top of your lungs good. So when it's not all of that, do you in your mind, do you process that as you being as the situation being insufficient? Then do you think?
Wait, what?
When it's not toe curling, and it's not scream to the top of your lungs good,
right?
Do you then identify in your mind that your relationship is insufficient?
No.
No?
No.
I would say no. No, listen. Honestly,
undercover.
I think primarily you have to put the effort in. The amount of effort that you're going to put in to woo the person, the amount of effort that you're going to put in to get the person, the amount of effort that you're going to put in to be with the person, you should put in to your sex life. So that translates to, if I gonna give you, that's your job to give that feeling. You gotta get to that height.
Yeah, but
point. You gotta try to go curl every time. You gotta do that. That's your job. That is your job.
Hollywood oversells.
No, Hollywood does not oversell it. It is very possible to achieve greatness.
I think Hollywood is a very good, facilitator.
I ain't gonna lie to you, right? I'm not with the, but I often laugh at movies when I see them like, I often laugh at the movies when I see them like, they're all like, and they're just rolling all, and ain't that crazy? Like, listen, you know what you can do in bed, okay? You get in there, you do your job. Only thing is, your goal as a guy, as a man and a woman, each of your goal is to make sure the person who you are giving this stuff to, you give them what they ask for. That's the job. That's your one job. You got one job to do, is to get them where they aren't. That's it. Get them to that golden road. All right? That's all you got to do. If you ain't doing that, then you failing, because you could get yourself there no matter. You know what it takes for you to get there.
Okay, so let's establish. Let's see if we can do this. Let's try to give the listeners one cheat code. What would you say a cheat code is to get to the top? Mine would be cuddling. Mine would be yes.
Cuddling happens after. Cuddling is out. I mean, not saying it happens after, right? But I'm saying more people cuddle after sex. But what we're saying is insect, because you're going to cuddle
probably
insects.
Wine then. So let's do wine.
Yeah,
wine is a good one.
Yes, to release inhibitions, you may want to.
That would be a good cheat code.
Drunken sex.
Or drug induced.
One good drunken
not any drug, just alcohol, because we don't want anybody getting locked up. But
Abigail,
something to release the inhibitions.
Do you have any cheat codes?
Watch a good.
Don't Bill Cosby them.
Just do a good Netflix and chill.
Really?
Abigail, that's a surefire way.
Really?
Abigail, so
you can communicate.
So,
you can ask your mate stuff like, what's your fantasy, or what have you ever tried that you'd like to try?
But you can't use that over and over.
No,
you don't have to.
But I think she's okay.
Fantasy is like a once in a lifetime thing, so why would you have to use it over and over?
No, I'm saying I'm looking for cheat codes that you can use throughout your relationship. Throughout your sex life.
Role play. I mean, depends on your
roles.
This ain't 1993.
Hold on.
Regular basis.
This ain't Halloween.
Like who did you marry?
No, I mean you could play the
yeah, but you don't want to do that.
You know what? I give you one, right? I think if you want to do something like activities, reading, if you want to. You can read and research certain things with your mate just to say, by the way, they say if you eat this, conch aphrodisia. Let's try some conch and see what happens. Yeah. You gotta do some different things.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Or you could say, this movie was a really sexy movie.
Yeah.
This turned me on. Let's
watch this.
So you could, little things.
Little things.
So I want to just read something that's, one of the WhatsApp listeners have sent in. It's pretty lengthy, so give me a minute. Mrs. Wright, if she is unimpressive in bed, I've been in a situation whereas she was a beautiful individual throughout, but not a miracle worker in the sack. I've never been one to leave someone off of something like sex, so I decided to play the role. Teacher without the sense of teaching. In many cases, it has worked, but not in this instance. Simply saying this to stress the point that I'd give it the old college try to make something out of a subpar sexual connection in order to maintain a really good relationship. Being vocal in relationships is major, and regardless of how old I get, I'm always eager to learn, sexually or otherwise. Sex is majestic in Hollywood. Sex is brilliant, but not filthy shades or movie magic brilliant. Obviously this person is saying, basically, talking about it, like you said, Jackie, I guess, is key to...
Yeah. Communication is key.
Yeah.
To make a long story short,
communication is so let's wrap it up. Does 80% of the person's qualities trump the 20% that they lack at all?
I think so.
Yes.
I think
it
so.
does.
I mean, otherwise relationships wouldn't exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people would have been.
And we kind of
a lot of times it's 60-40.
Okay then.
But I think though in like recent times, like relationships where people they have sex before they figure each other out.
Yes.
And I think that's what
the problem.
That's what causes a lot of
That's
that. Versus.
So maybe we should just wait a
go back
little.
to basics. I think we need to go back to basics like it used
Jackie
to be.
says, I agree, but we just jumping into sex these days. So
that's crazy.
That's what the issue
maybe
is,
get to know the person first.
Yeah, you think?
And then also, is it safe to say, based on the high mark, that if your relationship is failing, you probably need to check your sex. If sex is that important.
Listen, people don't. I can tell you this, right?
If sex is 90% of the equation, then
it's not 90% of the equation.
No, I'm saying though. No, let's be real though. Good sex makes some people stay in some messed up relationships.
But it doesn't last.
I know it doesn't last. What I'm saying.
So that makes it worse.
Just saying that it did though.
That's not a good plug though.
All right.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm saying what Sean said.
Thank you so much, guys, for showing up. Love you guys always. We're going to be right back. We're going to be right back in just a second. Hey, it's your girl Sly reminding you that SLYTalk is on your radio this and every Sunday at 6. No, this is not your average relationship talk. We are giving you the raw deal. No filters, none. Come kick it with your girl. Drop into the steamiest relationship topics on radio, a full panel of married, single, and divorced youth. Call in or text your questions and have them answered real time this and every Sunday at 6. More Entertainment is on More 94. Come kick it with your girl.
Real Talk Live has dominated the talk show scene for over 10 years. And the legacy continues. It's Real Talk Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Get your fill of not just any talk, but pure real talk. Right here on the only station giving you more entertainment. Call in with your opinion. Call in with what you want to say.
Just pick up the phone.
And dial 341-6673. 341-MORE. And if you're an Alive customer, all you've got to do is hit 9494. And you've got real talk. Real talk. Giving you more entertainment right here on More 94.
Relationship blues? Perplexed? Confused? Bothered? Hurt? Yeah. Sounds like you could use some SLYTalk. Here we go. And we're back, guys. Please remember, if you want to call in during the show, the number is 341-6673. That's 341-6673. Or you can send us a WhatsApp message at 816-8187. As always, you can hit us up on our social media handles. That's Facebook or Instagram at SLYTalk. Today we're talking about, when you have a really, really terrific person, female or male, and, they're just not doing it in the sack. I think it's a difficult road to cross, but I think we pretty much established that talking more and establishing what we want is the best idea, right, Abigail?
I agree. I think, communicating with that, your significant other and telling them what you don't like and what you like and customizing it right to your need is the best way to go.
So obviously if that is the solution to this issue, I think it would be important for persons to now begin to identify what makes you happy in bed. What are the things that makes you that you like in bed, so that you can begin to translate that to your mate or whomever it is.
Also, what happens though, sometimes it takes that person to break you out of
your shell.
Break something out of you too.
What do you mean?
Well, if you get with the right person, they could wake up.
Show you some things you didn't know. You like.
You could have been with somebody so long that it was kind of boring, and you met this particular.
No, what I'm saying is, in a situation where you don't, where you're in a situation where the person isn't giving you what you want.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's probably a good idea to identify with the things that you do like.
Oh,
people usually know though.
And probably judge.
Yeah.
You think?
I mean,
usually,
basically, you know certain one or two things that you do like.
You usually know what you like.
You know, when it comes to that intimate situation.
I have a good recommendation for the listeners too. If you think that you have someone that doesn't get or isn't giving you what it is you're really looking for, before you go ahead and lay that heavy news on them, try to just introduce what it is you like
to them.
Subtly to them, like just a subtle introduction.
Done to you, maybe?
Do unto others as you'd like have done to you. Yes, you give them that, and you look for it to be reciprocated. Now, if it isn't reciprocated, then you can step and say, okay, now listen. It's been a few times, and I've been trying to hint to you like this ain't happening. You like that? Yes, I do. Okay, well, you ain't delivering on this end. So, and that's a better way because someone can understand. Okay, I get it now. I see you was pushing that, and I wasn't doing it right. Okay, let me know. I got to turn left next time.
Or you could say, I saw how you reacted to that. Why don't you try that on me?
Yeah.
Well, that you brought that up, I'm happy you brought that up because there was a meme, well, not a meme, but a story that was circulating about Gabrielle Union. Did you see that?
I didn't see.
Where she tried the dirty on her husband. And
tossing salad.
The backwards.
Tossing salad.
Anyway.
She was
basically from behind. So, and she, everybody was like chopping her head off because they was like, why would you let people know that? But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I know one person a married person, that tried that with their mate, and they didn't like it at all, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dumb.
So let me ask you a question. Was it because that person wanted them to do the same for them?
No, I think it was because it emasculated, like, it was really like...
There's no good way to do that.
I know. What I'm asking is, do you think the lady that did it wanted her husband to do that to her, and that's why she did it to him?
That could be the possibility.
It could be.
But I don't know. I think you should discuss.
Don't do what your mate doesn't like.
She wouldn't have known how she got done.
But those forbidden things, I think you should discuss before.
Lord, like
those really extreme.
At least do a sample before you do the full blown meal.
Oh God!
Come on, you know what I mean? Like, give a sample or something. Test the market first.
I think it's important that you speak about things of that nature before you try to eat some Cocoa Pebbles.
Be Googling Gabrielle Union now. She really did it for everyone.
Oh man!
But let me ask this. So with married folk, right? Obviously, sometimes things get stale, and so in the bedroom, what may have been a really, really spicy, really hot relationship has now dimmed a bit because you have kids, you have bills, you have stress in the home. So, what suggestions would you maybe, Abigail, give to the listeners out there about, I guess, curbing that situation?
What I would suggest is, if you can't afford actually taking a trip away, I would suggest you taking the kids over to the grandparents, and you guys going out to a hotel just for the weekend and spicing it up that way.
So I have a great suggestion that I actually tried before.
Okay.
Go ahead, girl.
So if you've been in a relationship for a long time and you want to make sure keep it spicy. Let's say you take a trip somewhere far that you're not going to go all the time.
Locally or
no,
on the plane, okay.
Yeah. And let's say you go to a club or a bar, and you two may drive there together, but you walk in separately, and you act like strangers.
Okay.
And you have sort of like a pass to flirt with whoever you want in the room.
Really?
Hold on. It's just flirting. But at any given point, either of you can walk up to the other and say, like, flirt with that person, and then take it home.
Hold on, take the person home or
take your mate home.
Oh, I was trying to figure out what you would suggest.
At any point, that, like, for instance, if after 20 minutes, an hour, whatever, you say, okay, I want my guy or my girl out of this environment, and it's time for me to take her or him home.
Oh. That's like inducing jealousy.
Like, so it steams up the relationship.
It's just fun.
It's like self-induced jealousy.
And then you don't know these people, and you just go home and you just love the fact that you're together.
Aww. That's a tough one.
That's a good
idea. With a Bahamian woman, you're looking to catch one Heineken upside your head so fast.
You woman get
flirting.
I know.
Why do you say that anyway? Thank you so much to my guests. You guys are awesome. Life definitely comes without a manual. The how-tos depend significantly on who is involved in the scenario. One may decide that sex is trivial, and another may decide that sex is more than 90% of the relationship. One might decide that 10% of anything is better than nothing at all. I guess it all boils down to your personal needs and what's important to you. One thing is certain, if you look around you and examine the world, you'll find that whether 10%, 50%, or 100%, sex is definitely important. If you aren't up to standard and you know it, do something about it. No one wants to attempt to make love to someone that doesn't know how to please. There are YouTube videos, how-to videos, pole dancing classes to loosen your game. My advice, get on it. Until next time, people, love hard. I'm your girl Sly, and this is Sly Talk. Like what you heard here today and want to be a part of the steamy conversations discussed here on Sly Talk? Like us, follow us, and join the conversation on Facebook or on Instagram at SLYTalk. Also, visit the Sly Talk YouTube page for today's show and previous Sly Talk episodes. Never miss another show.